Podbean offers a variety of powerful analytic tools so you can understand exactly how your podcasts are performing. Understanding your podcast analytics is pivotal in the growth of your podcast. Here's a walkthrough of Podbean's podcast analytics. Before we begin, Podbean is IAB certified and achieved compliance for all areas of data we provide, including downloads, listener, and ad delivery metrics. This helps to address the industry changes such as lack of uniformity in measurement systems and how metrics are defined. IAB certified statistics give advertisers a standard way to evaluate podcast performance. Log into your Podbean account. Click on Podcast Dashboard. On the left-hand column, click on Statistics Overview. At the top of your statistics page, you can review your podcast downloads from yesterday, the last 7 days, the last 30 days, and all time. The next graph highlights the downloads trending pattern for your podcast during the selected date range. Click the Date drop-down at the top left corner of the graph to customize your date range. The date range will affect the following boxes with the exception of user retention data. This graph reflects the trend for that period with a summary of overall increase or decrease percentage. Additionally, the number of podcast followers, comments, and likes on the Podbean podcast app are all shown on the right side of the graph. Hover over any dot on the graph to view your overall listens for the specific day. Click on a data point to see all of your episode downloads from that day. You can use this tool to check out which episodes contributed to the peak days of listenership and understand what content contributes to your podcast growth. View your global map to view your listenership from different countries. This graph can be helpful in addressing your audience needs, creating content, inviting guests from certain areas, focusing on the best advertisers, and making marketing and other decisions for your podcast. Highlight your cursor over any country to view the downloads for the specified country. By clicking View More in the right-hand box, you'll be able to view a list of all the countries your podcast has been streamed in. For the United States, Canada, and Australia, click on the name of the country. You'll be able to view your downloads by state or province. Downloads by time of day is a heat map in which you can see which times of the day and days of the week have the largest number of downloads. Using this tool, you'll gain a deeper insight into your listeners' podcast engagement trends. Based on this information, you may want to schedule your newest episodes to be released before the peak download time to meet your listeners' preferences, which can enhance your podcast traffic. By moving your cursor over each green square, you'll be able to see how many users listened in a specific hour. Download Sources reveals your listenership across various podcasting apps including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts, and more. You can discover which platforms are the most important for your podcast and be sure to pay attention that it gets updated and shown properly in them. It may also help you make smart decisions about doing your podcast promotion on various platforms and apps where you know you get most listeners. You can use this to also consider efforts to develop more listeners on new platforms. By clicking View More, you can see a full list of download sources. Top 10 episodes will highlight your most popular episodes within your specified date range. Based on this information, you can understand what content draws the biggest audience for your podcast. This might be related to subject matter, type of guest, or format. You can also change the date range to review any evergreen podcast content that has attracted more listeners over time. User retention gives you a picture of listener loyalty within the Podbean app and shows the number of listeners each week, as well as the percentage retained over the most recent 7 weeks. Your podcast daily listeners graph shows you the number of daily unique listeners. This means if a user listens to multiple episodes in a day or plays your podcast multiple times, you will see multiple downloads but only one unique listener. The daily listener number gives you an idea of how many people your podcast reached daily. On the left-hand column, click on Statistics, Episodes. Here, you can view the top 10 most downloaded episodes during a time period. You can edit that time period by clicking on the drop-down menu on the top right corner. Podbean podcast episode analytics and statistics show you the downloads trending pattern for one episode, as well as lets you compare 5 episode downloads for the selected date range. To find your best performing or most popular episodes, you can compare episodes in a date range such as the last 30 days or 12 months. Podbean provides you the best way to compare your episodes for this type of analytics. We show you the first week, first month, and all-time download numbers of each episode line by line. So whenever the episode was published, you can compare your episodes for that time period they're published in a week or a month, which are the periods that tend to contribute the most downloads for each episode. You can also download this information as an Excel file by month.